Police say there have been no arrests after a demonstration at a government building in Sheffield. Around 40 people marched from Barker's Pool to the Department for Work and Pensions at lunchtime today to protest against the government's fit-to-work tests. Some campaigners got inside the building and chained themselves to a staircase, but left of their own accord after a short time. The private company Atos, which carried out the fit-to-work assessments for the government, has quit the contract early. Protester Matthew Reeve says they now, though, want the government to rethink the whole system of tests.
We've already made a difference once with a recent demonstration, which is part of a national network, and Atos, as a result of that, withdrew from their contract, and the government is having to scrab around to get another private provider, and we're hoping the second demonstration may actually convince the government to see sense and stop these assessments altogether.
They started off at the old NUM building in Barker's Pool and they made their way up here to West Street to the DWP building. There were representatives from the NUM, from NAPO, it's the union that represents probation officers, and lots of people who have been affected by these fit-to-work tests. They made their way up here to the DWP on West Street, and then a small group of them managed to get inside the building and chain themselves to the stairwell. It was all very sort of good-natured. Police did arrive, and after about half an hour or so they unchained themselves and came out. But whilst they were in there were lots of speeches made by various people, some of whom had been assessed and told that they were fit to work, contrary to their own beliefs, contrary to the beliefs of their doctors. And I was chatting to various of the protesters and sort of putting it to them that Atos has walked away from the contract. Does that make them feel any better? And certainly from most of the people that I spoke to, they weren't confident that anything really significant would change if there was a different private company involved.
So Kat was there responding to some of the people she's spoken to, and these are some of the people who actually took part in that protest.
Marilyn Jane Anderson. I've been going in the psychiatry ward from the age of 27, and unfortunately I got put on the right medication at 43, so a lot of my time and my life's been ruined, you know, due to neglect and misdiagnosis. You know, I'd love to. I work from the age of 14. It's not due to laziness or anything like that. I got a disability that wasn't my fault.
And the prospect of potentially in the future you being told, right, you are fit to work,
it's scary for me. I mean, it's hard enough going through mental health as it is without getting brown letters through your door saying that we want you to go for an interview and that you're fit to work. If you can stand up, bend down, pick a phone up, you know, you're fit to work.
My name's Jennifer. I'm a single parent from Arbuckle area, and I am currently received DLA because I've got a condition called bipolar disorder. As somebody who's constantly undergoing medical assessment and health checks, I'm really incredibly alarmed at the amount of people who are being deemed unfit or fit to work by people who are not actually medical health professionals.
Are you pleased to find that Atos have walked away from the contract? Do you think things will improve?
They're just going to be replaced by somebody else who will do the job that the government wants them to do. What they need to be replaced with is medical professionals.
I'm a member of NAPO, which is the National Association of Probation Workers.
So as a probation officer, you are seeing people being deemed fit to work that you don't think are?
That's right. People who can't get into the office because we're doing home visits to them, and people whose mental health in personality disorders, chronic disorders, being told they're fit to work, and they're simply not. And it's also risky for some people to be at work if people are unwell, you know, and there are risk issues attached to their ill health if they're given to aggression or anything like that. It's placing other people at risk if they're forced to work.
Cat Cowan speaking to some of the demonstrators. Well, I've been speaking to Matthew Reeve. He was at the demonstration as well. He's from Sheffield and was ruled fit to work by a tribunal against the advice of his GP.
Well, basically I'm here because I'm one of the people who has been tested by Atos through the work capability assessment procedure and found fit to work, which goes against the judgment of my doctor of 5 years.
So tell me about that process that you had to go through then.
Okay, it's a very kind of demeaning and very pressurised protest. You have to fill out lots of forms. You have to go to this company called Atos, who have now withdrawn from the contract because of the negative publicity, and have an assessment with them, with a medical professional who might be a doctor, it might not be, and they, in a very short interview, deem you either fit or unfit to work. And in my case, they deem me fit to work, as I said, which goes against what my GP has decided.
What's the strength of feeling like at the protest today?
It's very strong. It's very, very angry indeed, because what we want, basically, we're happy that Atos is withdrawing, this private company, from doing these work capability assessments. What we want is the actual assessment itself to be withdrawn, abolished, and for people who are genuinely sick and disabled to have proper support and help to get them back to work.
Do you think any protests are going to make the difference?
I think they are. I mean, protests have made a difference over centuries, haven't they? We haven't made progress without people resisting and protesting. And we've already made a difference once with a recent demonstration, which was part of a national network. And Atos, as a result of that, withdrew from their contract, and the government is having to scrab around to get another private provider. And we're hoping the second demonstration may actually convince the government to see sense and stop these assessments altogether.
When will the next protest be then?
We will keep protesting until the assessments are withdrawn, so we haven't obviously got one scheduled just yet. We'll see what the reaction is from the government and the providers, but we will carry on protesting until these assessments are totally abolished.
Matthew Reeve then talking to me about that demonstration in Sheffield.